So I'm gluing the lid to the internal compartment and the back of the cover, say, of the hull together. I made a little movie, a little film clip about gluing these two together, but then my wife started to make a lot of noise during the filming of the clip, and I had already put the glue on. So I finished gluing, but I threw away the film clip. Basically, the most important bit of gluing these two parts together is that you do it on a flat surface, making sure it's stable. And what I also did was I put a strip of painter's tape and another strip of painter's tape on the edges, so that once I sprayed on the accelerator, I'm gluing everything with a CA glue and medium speed and accelerator. That foams up, and then the foam is on the painter's tape, and you can pull it off quite easily afterwards. And it saves a lot of sanding, because once the foam hardens out, it's as hard as the glue, and it's difficult to sand off. It just takes a lot of effort. It's not difficult. It just takes a lot of effort, and I don't like effort. So that part's done. As you can see, it has the internal lip. When you glue it, it's important to keep the outer edges nice and straight, because there's no glue strip on that part, because that would interfere with the hull. It slips over the hull and it would interfere. So that part's done. Then we have the lid to the internal cover, and the lid joiner, which is just a little plate. I found that my printer prints a little bit of elephant's foot, so I had to sand down the edges of the joiner plate a bit, and I also rounded the edges while doing that, not really purposefully, but it happened. I did it with a file, by the way, not with sanding paper. And then it's just a matter of gluing these together. I do one part first, and I don't use accelerator on that. It almost snaps together. It's really tight. Now it doesn't want to. Okay, like that. So I'll do that. So this part is glued together, and I used the shiny part, which was on the glass bed of the joiner, on the upside, and I put the glue on the not so shiny side, because that has more surface area and a little bit of ridges. The top of the 3D print is not as flat as the bottom. This part you can hear, that was the top part when printing. When I do it here, it's almost smooth. So I put top part to top part with glue, so it has a bit of grip to get in. Next, I'll glue on the other part, of course, over the full seam and on the joiner. But that was the dog messing up another movie. Anyway, and I put it down on a piece of painter's tape, so it doesn't stick to the cover of the table. So the two pieces are stuck together. I used accelerator, and as you can hopefully see, if it wants to zoom in a bit, it doesn't. There's a bit of foaming happening here and a bit of foaming happening there. And it, of course, stuck to the table. Fortunately, I put on the painter's tape, so I can take it apart. And you can see there's a little bit of painter's tape sticking to the CA glue. But that is peeled off and sanded off quite easily. And the foaming has closed any gap that was there. So, two parts done. Only the big hull to go. And then, of course, all the inner parts.